let's start editing the road network now. Finally getting to a stage where we can do some meaningful edits. What we need to do, we've got the Yevler roads layer active there. We need to go to snapping. Snapping is instructing the program to search for features. This doesn't work with raster layers, obviously only works for features, for vectors. And we have several different settings. First of all, we need to turn it on. Our snapping settings here, we can set to 1 meter, 1 map unit. Click on OK, which means that when it's within a certain distance, 1 in this case, it will find that feature, it will hop to it. But what features is it going to find? Well, we have these settings here. Snap points to the nearest point or LAS point feature. Maybe we want that. We could turn that off if we want to avoid snapping onto points. If we just want to snap onto lines. And then endpoints, snaps to the endpoint of a polyline feature. That sounds reasonable. We might want to do that. Snaps to a vertex. Yep, definitely. The edge, snaps to the nearest edge. This is a possibility if we want to snap to some point along a line that doesn't have any other determined position. We might want to just be cautious with that one, because we could end up snapping not on an existing node on a line, but just on a neighboring point somewhere along the line if we're not careful enough with our positioning. So we can maybe turn that off for now. Intersection, that could be good. I mean, intersection snaps to the nearest intersection of 2 or more lines. Sounds pretty good for that down there, this feature where we don't have anything. And then a midpoint, that's halfway along a line. Okay, that might be useful as well. We can start with some of these tools active there, and if it's not working out for us, we can always go back and change the snapping settings. We want to go to modify, and then under the modify we've got all of these tools here, because we're going to be modifying this Yevler road. So modify, and we want this split tool down there. So we're going to split things. And now select the things that we want to modify. So we click on that, and let's start by modifying this road here. We want there to be another node on this line here as there is there. So if we select that, that's selected for modification, and then if we then click on there, but this is due to snapping, it's now snapping to that endpoint. If we click there, we can see that it's now split it. Similarly, we can split it there. Okay, so we've now split that road in 2 places. So there are now nodes for there and for there. Let's just clear that. And then we want to start working on this. So we go back to our modify features tool. Let's just actually move over. There we go. Modify features. Click there. Select to modify, and let's modify that line first. And so that's selected. Now there's a vertex, and well, actually ideally what we wanted, let's turn that vertex, we wanted this, the intersection. Let's see if we can get that to work. So let's turn off all of those and just leave the intersect there. Intersection. Good, that's done. Now we can go back to snapping and turn on endpoints and vertex, maybe not the edge. And then that's created a node on that line for us, which is what we wanted, but now we want a node on this line as well. So now we need to go back to modify features, or actually we need to go to clear first. Clear that, modify features, select there, select on that, and then we can use that endpoint there. So now we should have nodes that meet up there. So that's the basics of editing like that. We also have this problem, of course, if you think that this is actually a valid cycle path that you would want to cycle on, we will need to create a new feature. So in our Yevler roads layer, we can create a new feature and create it from, say, there, going down along here. This isn't in the standard map, this is us doing the work, and how detailed we will need to be is, that's kind of up to us. I'm doing this incredibly detailed considering. Now, here we have this issue again of snapping, and this might be this snap to edges nearest. We do this. Thank you. And then we go here. We can snap to some point there. Finish that off. Finish. So now we have a line, and it snaps to there. And interestingly, it would appear to have created a vertex automatically there. It doesn't appear to have created one there. So then we need to go to our modify tool again. We should clear first. We go to modify and split, and we're going to modify that, and we're going to split it there. So that gives us now an extra cycle lane that wasn't there before. So we've done all this. We can just save our edits. Yes. Let's hope that they are actually now saved. It seems as if they are. There's lots more to do. We can continue editing this, but I believe in the instructions it says to run a quick test now. So if we look at this, we can, once we've done all of our edits, we need to build the network. So we need to go back. Let's just find the tools for analysis, our network analysis, but also we want to go to geoprocessing tools here, and we want to type in network, build network, input network dataset, and that's going to be our Yabla network. Open. Okay, and then we can run that. And we run that build of the network, and then we should go back to catalog. Well, we don't actually need to. We can if we want. We can add this this network in like this, and we get our lines in there. Cycle network. It's not entirely necessary, but it could be a nice idea. We can turn that off for now. And then with that active, we go to network analysis, service area, as we did before, and it makes a new service area. We click on our service area there. We need to import facilities again. The import location, start end there. We click on run there, so that's now imported. We needed to adjust this 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 1000 polygons and lines, and we can leave all that as it was, or we can do dissolve. We can test something different, do dissolve if you like. So let's just zoom out a little bit so we can see the results more clearly. And then that's done there, that's done there, and we click on run. So now, if we move over, we can see that our network, if we just turn the RGB off, we can see it looks slightly different. We can style those lines again using the symbology. Instead of single symbol, we want graduated colors, and instead of the source ID, we want this from cumulative length. And it does the same thing again, and it looks slightly better. We've got rid of this problem with this being not connected properly to the network, but obviously there are still lots of errors. There are lots of holes in our network. We need to continue editing, but that's the basics. So for the rest of this part of the exercise, you will continue editing the network until you've got something that looks reasonable. It's also asking you to create a buffer, just using the geoprocessing toolbox to create buffers. These buffers are then to sort of illustrate the difference between the service areas which follow the network and the buffers which are just a straight line distance out. As you can see, because there's not much connection to the network in this direction, our service area is heavily biased towards this way. But when we add in buffers for these different areas, let's just quickly do one of those for you. Let's just do geoprocessing, find buffer there, analysis tool. The input feature, we can do that around our start end. Distance, linear unit, we want meters, and then we can just type in there, we'll go 1000, dissolve, no dissolve, and then we just type in run there. And if we zoom out, we can see that, if it allows, we can see that the buffer, the 1000 meter buffer, and remember this service area comes out to 1000 meters, but we can see the buffer will go out to 1000 meters around here, whereas if we just follow the network, if we're constrained by having to follow along this network around like this, we only get out so far. We don't actually manage to follow onto the end of the network. So this is illustrating one of the differences, and you in your presentation, well, in using the layout view, will use buffers to illustrate the difference as well. Consider the colors, consider the symbology, how you can best do this. So that's the basic idea behind this first part of the analysis.